When you're blue and kinda lonely too, you'll find a smile will go a long, long way. Though you're down, don't sit around and frown. A little smile will go a long, long way. Never grieve, just try to make believe the sky is blue, although you know it's gray. Don't you find it's just a waste of time? You'll find a smile will go a long, long way.
And welcome into another exciting chapter of Ron and Ron and Jen's Great Escape, or Ron and Gren's Jen Escape, as sometimes people refer to it. What are you wearing?
What? Oh, well.
What's the cap?
It says life is good.
Oh, yeah. Look,
yeah.
We matched today.
But I covered it because, yes, life is good. Because I didn't think I matched. So I thought, that's kind of, it looks like sweet, like your shirt. And then I have this stupid tie-dye because I stank.
Nice. So you're not delving into Jen's grab bag today. We'll wait for the next podcast to do that.
Yeah, wow. I think the grab bag is gone, though. I think I brought it to Goodwill. No. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh,
it's
the grab
gone.
bag's gone.
Yeah, and
yeah, you did. You absconded with it.
I sure did, because the only thing left was pants.
You were aghast our last podcast, and then after that podcast, you absconded with Jen's grab bag. So the letter A has been
absconded.
You absconded. Okay. So you hit the bricks.
Right.
You're out.
I couldn't even pronounce words last
you
podcast.
You are out.
I was out.
We have a woke moment to talk about here in the
do?
Ocean State. Yes, a statue of the first white resident of Blackstone Valley dismays some. I've never heard of this person. William Blackstone, of course, the Blackstone Valley.
Yeah.
But now apparently, some 400 years after he got to Rhode Island, some are hoping it's just going to go away. Yeah, so that's the most recent thing. Native Americans say he wasn't a good guy, all right? So they want to erase him. And it's this really hideous-looking sculpture of him. One of the state's first settlers in 1630s.
Did they tell us why he wasn't a good guy?
Probably because he might have been delving into the slave market or tolerating it or what have you.
I just have to say, this is just food for thought. So I saw something on Facebook, which we know is a cesspool. But I saw something on Facebook, and this guy wrote, so it's all of the Native American tribes all over the country before colonists got here. And I said to these people, I just on the whim, I said, do you guys understand that all of these different tribes, all over the native tribes, all over the country, were killing each other before we came over, and they started killing us and we started killing them. So they were doing this for their livelihood. They were doing this for their land. They were doing this for whatever reason. But each different tribes would go into different people's areas and they'd say, well, I want that area because it's near the water. And this is just, I'm just saying, ad-libbing here.
So they wipe out whoever's living near the water.
Well, they wipe out whoever was there so that they can have what they had.
Sure.
And so then, this is what's so crazy to me. I said, so then somebody said, well, that's understandable. I said, so let me get this straight. They could kill each other, but we couldn't kill them. So I'm just trying to understand. So, and that doesn't make it right, but this is the way that humans have done things over the course of the centuries. I mean, we do this. We kill and take and kill and take. And I don't,
Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that, but that's where we're at. And to some degree, we still do it. They still do it in, but not literally in terms of capitalism, in terms of, warring factions across the world. I mean, people go and take what they want and deal with the ramifications later. So, I mean, our history is what it is. Do you think we can just erase it and well,
some people feel that you can.
But do you think, what are we shooting for? Shangri-La? Because that's never going to happen. Look at our past. Why do we think that we can do that moving forward?
Yeah.
I just think these are, relevant questions.
They are very.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Well, you brought it up, the woke moment, so I'm sorry I went off on a tangent.
Don't worry about it.
I do have some alien news, so don't worry.
There'll be many more woke moments that we can go off on, I'm sure.
Yes.
Well, we knew this was going to happen.
What happened?
When Governor McKee had to dismiss, well, he didn't dismiss him. You can't fire me. How come I quit? You can't quit. How come I'm fired? His chief of staff.
Yeah,
boom.
Yeah.
And now something else happened, too.
Uh-oh.
There was an op-ed piece by Aaron Regenberg, that's actually how you pronounce his name, former state rep who ran against, if you remember, he ran against McKee for the lieutenant governor's position in a very, very close race. He lost to McKee, but now he wrote an op-ed piece entitled "Something's Rotten in the Governor's Office." Now, you and I knew this was going to happen. We said, oh, this guy, this chief of staff who quit, that's going to be grist for the mill when primary comes around.
Well, because he's dabbling in things that are sort of questionable.
Sort of.
Well.
They stink.
Yes.
But now, apparently, also, this points out that McKee's string of recent scandals, it's a strong word, raises the question of whether or not he may be dragging our state back to the bad old days of pay-to-play governance. Apparently, a recent story was revealed by Channel 12, a $5 million school reopening contract that McKee, his longtime financial backers of corporate finance education, they got the contract. So,
this is what you used to do.
Yeah, it's stinky.
Something ain't right.
Yeah, it's stinky.
That's a old fish in the back seat of your car.
That's a strong word to be breaking out now. Scandal, but we knew that's what was going to happen.
That's clickbait.
All right.
You want to sell some papers.
Yep.
You want people to click on stories.
Yep.
Use words like that.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Now, whether or not Regenberg is going to be pursuing a higher office, I don't know.
Seth Magaziner
but we do know that Seth Magaziner, as of this week, as we track this, as we record this podcast, he has announced his candidacy. And you think he's quite the vanilla candidate, don't you?
Of course I do. Do you know, so I was hanging out the other day by Kickboxing. There's a bus stop over there. And I heard this. This is why I say that. That Mr. Magazine, he's running for the office. And I thought, these are the people that sit on juries, and these are the people that vote. So Mr. Magazine, there's nothing exciting about Mr. Magazine. So I hope that he busts out some kind of thing that says, hey, he's got guts, or hey, that's an important issue and he's got an interesting take on it, or hey, he's going to embrace that moving forward. But I mean, when you think of him, what do you think? I think he signed checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You get your tax refund. His name's on the check.
Well,
that's it.
And didn't Gina come from rather humble office beginnings?
I don't know. I feel like she just kind of bust on the scene, and it was timing for her. She had perfect timing. The state was ready for Gina Raimondo.
It was good timing.
But Mr. Magazine has to break away from the pack. And how is he going to do that? Is he going to even try?
Well, here's the line from the Journal. You knew he was going to go for the low-hanging fruit right out of the gate. The treasurer eyes weeding out, quote, old-time politicians. So, of course, I'm not like the rest of them.
Yeah,
I'm not a professional politician. Oh, yes, you are.
Sure.
Yeah. But, like you said, it resonates with some people.
Yeah.
And they might go into the polling place and write down Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine.
He can, if he has a fun tagline, he won't even have to stand for anything. He can just use his name.
No, it's all about money. We all know it's all about money when you're running for office.
And political ads,
And dirty, filthy political.
Well, yeah,
and how do you pay for the ads? Money.
Well, this is true. Listen, and I didn't really pay attention to the minutia of the California recall race, which now we know Newsom is going to remain as governor. But what they put Larry Elder through was unbelievable.
Well, Larry Elder put himself through the ringer too.
Yes.
We can. He's just as responsible for being through that ringer.
But here's why I say this: because you've got people on the left who are telling all of us we need to be more racially motivated and minded. We need to question our whiteness and put ourselves in check. We need to do all kinds of things. And the very people that are telling us this called him such horrible names.
It's politics.
And just raked him over the coals and said he wasn't black enough, that he's a white supremacist. It was just insane.
Hypocrites.
Yeah. As
Buddy used to say, the hypocrisy, hypocrisy of it all.
They don't care. Nobody cares.
Speaking of Buddy.
Yeah, he's still dead.
Yeah, he is. But one of our nicknames for the former Fall River mayor, Mr. Correa, Little Buddy.
Little Buddy is back in the news.
Yes, Little Buddy's back in the news, and that was our lead story in our column this week in RINewsToday.com. So follow us every Wednesday. Ron and Jen's Great Escape. We post our column and our thoughts on what's going on in this crazy world of ours. And that was our lead story. I said, Little Buddy. No, not the skipper's pal on Gilligan's Island. Yes. That's what we call Korea.
Wow.
Sort of. Can we say that affectionately? No, we don't
No.
call him affectionately.
He wants,
we just call him
Yeah,
that.
he wants it light. He wants a light sentence.
Yeah,
He
good
doesn't
luck.
want 11 years. He only wants 3.
Right. September 20th, by the way.
3. Look at my fingers. My
September
great
20th is when the ash can comes down.
fingers. Yeah.
That's when he'll be sentenced. Of course, he's already filed his appeal, but the federal
Mm-hmm.
government, wants him to pay back over $500,000
He should.
from the people that he swindled.
Well, do you think he'll get as much? Buddy got 5. Do you think he'll get that much?
This is
Is
Fed.
what he did worse?
This is a federal
Did he
situation.
do? Was it worse than that RICO charge?
Oh,
Because
boy.
they hated Buddy, and they
That's
only
a
gave
great-
him 5 years.
That's a great question.
They wanted to
only-
nail Buddy for years and years.
Don't
and
forget
they
though,
finally got him.
when you're sentenced, when it's a federal sentencing, you got to do 85 to 90% of that thing.
It's a white collar crime, though, so he's going to end up in some posh locale.
Don't give me that crap.
He's
Don't-
going to be in a bunk bed with somebody that has a name like, Martineau, the bag man, and they're eating good food, and they get to go out to the yard and toss a ball around and watch the World Series. I mean, how hard can it be?
Oh, I can tell you how hard it can be because I went to see CNC in Fort Dix 10 separate times.
It's not like Alcatraz. That's what I mean.
It ain't like Alcatraz, but it's not like a scene in the Goodfellas either. Where what's his name was slicing
Wasn't that great?
was slicing the garlic
Yeah,
so thin.
yeah.
No, it's not like that.
And they
where
had
you're-
the
where they're
wine.
bringing in knapsacks of lobsters and wines
bread.
and wine. No, I mean his life is going to be turned upside down, and you know what? Justifiably so. He deserves it.
Yes, I agree.
All right, now
I agree.
some good news before we turn it over to America's most popular segment.
America's favorite segment. Get it straight, pal.
Man, the bruises
did
I
that
go through.
hurt?
The bruises I go through.
There.
I'm very sensitive.
Are you?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
This is something I know that you want. You posted something recently that blew me away. You were an extra in a movie. What was that?
You
that
didn't
scene?
know that?
I never knew that.
Yeah,
and you
it-
put it up on Facebook. It was
did.
a Sandra Bullock, Melissa McCarthy
Yes, the
movie.
Heat. Remember when they were 2 detectives and that? See, I liked it because I
Yeah,
was
'cause
in
you
it.
were in it.
I mean,
Stinkburger.
So
Stinkburger.
yeah, it was so funny because I joined some Boston casting thing and they were looking for extras and I applied as a media person. And so then they had originally called me and this is the way they do it. So now I did the hocus pocus thing, but I think you have to have like all kinds of medical information
Right.
and to be on set with all the stars. You have to have a Vax passport, and
They
I don't
are-
even know where to get that.
They are casting.
Yeah, they are. So I
for
signed up for that. But so
Hocus
anyway,
Pocus 2.
they called me and said, "Today's the day. Can you come down?" And I said, "Yeah." And so it was August, and we shot that scene. It was a 2-second scene that took about 10 hours. I mean,
You and I,
It was unbelievable. We were sweating profusely out
yep.
there.
when they were making the movie on Vinny Paz here in the Ocean State.
Yeah.
And my guy I know, Chad Verdi, is the producer of that movie, and I got in touch with him. I said, Jen and I, because you and I were still doing the morning show. I
I'll tell you what Pat said to me.
I can't tell you which station. I don't remember where we were at the time, but
That's sad.
but Verdi said,
Did you go through menopause too?
Verdi said, yeah, all set. Yeah, you can. And we're going to be like in the first couple of rows at the Civic Center, right? And it's for and then I found out you had to be there for at least 6 hours. I said, that ain't going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Well,
so we didn't do it.
So I got $150.
You did?
Oh yeah. And at the end of the movie, and one of the Wayne brothers was in there. I don't remember who it was.
I don't know
he
which
was
one.
so sweet. Well, I don't remember what his name was, but he was just the nicest guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and they fed us afterwards. They fed us prime rib and filet mignon. We had to go to a different location for dinner, but
wow.
I had my to-go containers naturally.
Of course.
But so Vinny Paz was in studio at some point when you and I were working together, and I still looked pretty good back then. And he says to me, either that or he was just super, whatever, hungover that morning. He said, "You should be one of the
Card girls?
The card girls. Do you remember that?"
No.
Yeah, he said that.
I think
And
he said. Unfortunately, I think he said the same thing to me. So he must have been. He must have been hungover.
I was so embarrassed. I thought, well, no, I mean, I can't get out there in a bikini and hold up a card.
Right.
But,
You were loving it. Who are you
but
kidding?
yeah, well, for a second,
You
no,
were
it was
freaking
embarrassing
loving it.
though.
You were loving it.
No,
Stop it.
I wouldn't go that far. I can't imagine those girls. But anyway, so yeah, I'll post that on our page if you want. You
Is
want
that
to
a
see me in
step
the
up or
movie?
a step down from Vanna White, from what she does?
I think that's a step up.
Holding a card or turning over.
Well, because you're in a bikini.
Did you hear what happened to her?
No.
She had to be rushed to the hospital recently?
Did she fall?
No, she couldn't move her vowels.
So dumb.
I'm here all week.
Yeah, that's
Try the roast beef.
that is so. Well, I will tomorrow night at the Hall of Fame.
Yes, which is...
Dinner.
Yes.
Well,
the
what are we
inductions.
eating, by the way?
Chicken marsala.
Chicken
Yes.
marsala.
The inductions of the...
Do I have a choice?
No. The Rhode Island Radio and Television Hall of Fame ceremonies September the 16th.
Do they have a gluten-free option?
I'm sure they do. The dates get all screwed up because we record this thing. It drops at a particular time, but this is
gonna
going
drop today.
It's going to drop today but people don't always watch it when it premieres.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
who knows?
I have to go to an event tomorrow in Hobnob, and you know what the funny thing is? Can I just say I don't know how I feel like you are this way, that we used to do radio or we still do this show, whatever, for fun or for a living, but we're really kind of shy, bashful people. I consider myself an introvert. I mean, not with you because we've been friends for over 20 years, but I mean, I'm really bashful. I didn't realize that.
You're not exactly a social butterfly
Well,
when it comes
no,
to these
and I mean,
kinds
once
of,
I
these kind of
stopped
things.
drinking, I mean, I really realized because you put a little liquid courage in you, and then
I don't find myself bashful at all.
really,
Yeah, I'm fine.
well,
I think I was bashful growing up.
yeah, hobnobbing ain't my thing.
Nah, I'm just in small talk and hobnobbing. Nah, that's not my
Yeah.
thing either. But
Because do you care about someone's Aunt Flo who stubbed her toe and needs surgery in 3 weeks? I mean, how do you really look engaged in a conversation like
I
that?
don't think Aunt Flo's going to
Oh,
come up.
Paula, that's terrible.
I really don't think that Aunt
Then you're
Flo's coming up
lying.
in conversation tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be among a lot of people that you know. And,
Tony
and-
Bristol.
And Piers, Tony's going. He's sitting with us. He's at our table.
Yes.
All right. Now I digress. Here's some good news. Apple Cinemas is going to start showing movies at the Warwick Mall that shut down. So a new group is coming in. Apple
Oh,
Cinemas.
okay.
How cool is that?
That's really cool.
Yeah. And they serve dinner and they serve drinks while you're
Oh,
sitting there
I
watching
love
the flick.
that.
So
They had one of those on Cape. That is
Yeah.
great.
So that's good news.
A
That's
dinner theater. I love that.
That's coming, and it's going to be first-run movies too.
Have you gone back to the movies yet since this?
I have not.
I went to see Shang.
Oh yeah, Shang-a-Ling-a Ding Dong, the
Shang-a-Lang
new
and
Marvel,
Ding Dong
the new Marvel
in 3D.
movie.
I loved it.
I get headaches when I go.
No, it was
I go
really
see
good.
3D, and I always walk out with the glasses on, like a
Yeah,
dope.
you do. You keep them.
They're always on my head.
Yes,
I don't
you
do it
do.
intentionally. I'm just a brouillon,
Yeah.
And lastly, how about this? A bright new logo. It's fresh. It's a motto for Central Falls.
Central Falls.
Yep, Central Falls. There it is.
Yeah.
I'm showing it to you. It says Central Falls. What does it say? Diversity that impresses.
It's warm. What was that? It's
Inspires.
cool and warm.
It's cooler and warmer. No, this
Cooler
is
and warmer?
diversity that inspires.
Okay.
How it inspires, I don't know. I just
Okay.
know that's the home of Stanley's Hamburgers,
Yeah.
the best burger in the entire state. And that's what we have for what's happening in news today and a few of our thoughts on stuff like that. Now
Stuff.
we transition over into what is allegedly America's favorite segment.
America's favorite segment. Hey, while I'm doing this, did you see the Panthers virtual reality thing that they showcased at their stadium?
No. Pop goes that weasel.
It's time for Jen's News. It's America's favorite segment.
Well, are you going to finish the thought about the Panthers?
Well, no. I just had a question. Did you?
No.
No, it was a virtual reality thing,
Oh.
but it looked so real, and so this thing with green eyes comes out over the. I was going to
I
do.
thought
this
you were
story.
talking about the football team.
Yes, I am.
Oh, all right.
But so right before the game started, this thing comes out and you hear "Rah, rah, rah." So it jumps up on part of the stadium and it's ripping the Jets flag. It's like tearing it like a cat would
Well, that
do.
ain't right.
Yeah, and then it jumps onto the field, but it's it's one of these sort of hologram.
Were you
fake-
scared?
Well, no, I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
I thought it was so cool. You guys I'm going to post that on our Facebook page. It is so freaking wild. So,
All right.
anyway.
There you go. You already did it. It already came out. Popped, past tense, went
All
the
right.
weasel.
Hey, so there's an alien sighting.
Good.
Did you know? This is in a bizarre story out of Kentucky. I was there for a little bit. That is a strange place. Cops arrested a guy, Ron, for firing a gun from a hotel window, and when questioned by police, he claimed that aliens were to blame for the shooting.
Gotta blame somebody.
Well, that is true. This strange incident reportedly occurred in the community of Richmond early last Saturday morning when authorities received a call about gunfire at a local hotel. Upon their arrival, police confirmed the report is they witnessed themselves somebody shooting out of one of the windows, and after ensuring the other patrons of the hotel
Patrons.
that they
Were they
safe,
from Akron, those patrons?
cops swooped in and arrested Samuel Rydell, and he said, "Hey, I saw aliens, and this is why I was firing my
So
weapon."
is he a candidate also for Brilliant of the Week?
He might be.
All right.
He might be. Hey, this story is not shocking, but it sort of is. Did you know, listen to this, right? 1 in 7 vaccinated Americans have dumped friends over COVID shots.
Not surprised whatsoever.
Are you kidding me?
Because it's a big political hot potato.
It's the ultimate form of social distancing. Okay, 1 in
boom.
7. Yeah.
Kids, don't try that at home.
1 in 7 vaccinated Americans have ditched pals who refuse to get the COVID-19. This is from a new poll. It's the One Poll survey. And they found that respondents have broken up with at least 3 friends since the pandemic began in March of 2020.
It's no different because
Isn't
it's
that
such a
awful?
political hot potato. It's no different than all the stories we heard back when, if you're a Trump supporter, I can't have a conversation with you because you don't support Donald Trump. And I'm saying it's just as big a political hot potato as that conversation had turned into.
I was supporting him
Just
before
saying.
in 2010
Just
before
saying.
he ran. I started a Facebook page that said Trump for president. I never thought that he would really run. I think I had 4
Run.
people look at the.
He not only ran.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I never thought in my really wildest
How many people
dreams.
you think looked
I
at
think
it?
maybe 4 or 5 looked at it.
Well, that's only about 6 or 7 behind the people who check our Facebook page.
Well, no, we have
I
a
know.
lot of respondents.
I know.
As opposed to
going
this
pretty good.
podcast,
And
but-
what is the Facebook page?
Oh, Ron and Jen's Great Escape
On Facebook.
on Facebook,
That's it.
but it's Ron and Jen's Great Escape, and we haven't said this in a while. Charlie Hall, thank you so much for the
Yeah.
logo.
The logo's
It's so
fabulous.
cool.
We love the
I mean,
logo.
I want that on a T-shirt. I love it. I think it's.
I'm
great.
looking into that, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that's good
All right.
Christmas stocking stuff.
It is. It is. And finally, Ron, Fox Nation, Fox is going to revive now, and I wondered if they were ever going to do this. Cops. After the series was canceled amid the George Floyd riots.
Oh, that was very much viewed.
Yeah.
Perhaps a lot of people
I can't
followed
believe. Now, how are they going to do this? Because I mean, it's going to be a nicer, gentler cops. They want to paint them in a
I don't
sweet.
know.
I know. Fox Nation is bringing back the popular TV reality series. They said it's going to start October 1st. This is from Variety. They said Fox said that Cops is one of the most iconic brands on television
That's
with
true.
an incredibly passionate fan base,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've been receiving thousands and thousands of emails and letters, and when and if and how and whatnot. Oh, and finally in Jen's news, I want to tell you, do you know that commercial with Scoop? There it is.
Yeah. Oh.
Scoop there. And that lady, they say, Tasha.
Yeah.
Did you know the Geico commercial? I sent Tasha a message, and I'm going to see if I can get an autographed picture for somebody for Christmas.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be great from Tasha?
Oh, sure. That'd be just wonderful.
And they asked me though for some information. But see, I don't know if it's the real lady.
The real Tasha.
Yeah, so
it
I
could
don't
be a
want to
fake
give
Tasha.
somebody my info.
Could be a fake Tasha.
It could, but I love that commercial. And then at the end, she's like,
I liked it the first 10,000 times I saw it.
Tasha, Scoop. There it is.
That's an
Anyway, that's all I got for you,
yeah.
pal.
That my ears bleed when I hear that commercial. Now.
I like it.
Boom, there it is.
Chakalaka, chakalaka, sprinkle.
Remember we talked about
hilarious.
the school bus driver shortage, not only here in Rhode Island but across the country.
Do you know who's driving in Rhode Island? I found out last night.
Not you, I hope.
No, National Guard.
Yep. Massachusetts too.
Yes, I can't. And here's the thing: they don't know the rules of those, the specific rules that you're supposed to.
Well,
they
I'm sure
they drive. No, they don't know Rhode Island rules with the school buses and all this. This lady who was a driver for years and years told me this last night.
Well, why isn't she driving anymore?
She is.
Oh, all right.
Hey, your phone's ringing.
It's probably the National Guard.
It probably is.
They're calling to
raid your house
yeah,
and kick the door
they're
in.
pissed at you for
And
saying
then
something like
you'll
that.
hear this.
No, that's the ice cream truck.
Not anymore. People complained about
Maybe
it.
the ice cream truck's being driven by the National Guard.
That
these
is
days.
true.
We don't know. There could be an ice cream driver shortage too. There's a shortage of everything.
There sure is.
The Macy's Day Parade looks like it's coming back to actual people on the street to view it. Now,
Really?
last year, as you know, it was just a television event, and
Yeah.
they shut it down. But apparently NBC will be broadcasting it. That's 95 years old now. Now, you want to see something really creepy? You know, we do the Remember When segment.
Yeah.
Toss this into Remember When and run
Some
to
of the
your
balloons?
run to your computer and Google this. Google what the balloons looked like
Yeah,
in
they
the
do look
very,
creepy.
very early stages. They are freaking creepy.
Yeah, they look satanic.
Creepy. Felix the Cat's the worst one.
Well,
It's
I like
just
Felix.
like no, you like it now. But
Yeah.
if you look at the way the balloon looked that 1930s, oh my God! I mean, how a kid went to that parade and wasn't haunted for the rest of his life by
True.
Felix, I don't know. But supposedly it's coming back. You know, with the usual distancing and all that kind
Well,
of
but
stuff.
see, this is how are you going to distance at a parade? I was right about
In
to
New
say
York
that.
City.
Yeah, well, because the Buffalo Bills and Sabres, right? They're saying now that you can't come to
Right.
New York. You can't come to their games
events.
unless you are
Proof of
vaccinated.
vaccination,
So
yes.
what do they want on the streets? Proof of vaccination before you stand next to Sally and
No.
Uncle,
No.
Uncle,
No.
George
Uncle
to
Gus.
go see the Uncle Gus to go see the parade.
No, right now the way I interpret the story is you just have to follow the rules of social distancing.
And then just another side issue, the NBA is not going to require the vaccination.
I saw that.
Isn't this so? What the
saw
heck,
that.
guys? So some are, some aren't. Some places do, some don't. How the heck you gonna get? What is George Biden? What is Joe Biden looking for? 90% to get herd immunity?
Joe Biden's looking for the front door. He doesn't know what he's looking for.
Well, at his age, he's looking for the pop.
Can you imagine
The
how many?
can.
Can you imagine how many times?
Can you imagine how many times he goes to the restroom throughout the day?
Probably a lot.
Stress. He probably has chronic diarrhea.
Probably has to stand there for a while too. But how many times do you think he walks into a room in the White House and says, "What did I come in here for?"
Yeah. Who am I?
I don't know if he's at
Where
that
am
point.
I?
I don't know if he's at that point, but
Uncle
I don't,
Joe.
I don't know if he's at an Admiral Stockdale point.
Good Lord.
But how many? I wonder. At least 4 or 5 times a day, he must walk into a room in the White House and put the light on and go, "What did I come in here
And
for?"
just think about who's riding the pine, Kamala.
Oh.
And then after her, Pelosi.
No, let's hope they continue to ride the pine. Yeah. Before we get into some food news, it's this is technically food news. It's September, Halloween closer than Christmas, right? If you
Yeah.
do the math, you didn't know there'd be
Thanks,
math today.
Ron.
But guess what?
What?
Psychoanalysts, a lot of those psychoanalysts out there, and you and I hang around with a lot of psychoanalysts on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They say that putting up your Christmas decorations now will make us a lot happier.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm not there. November 1st is the earliest I can possibly do it. I'm a New Englander. I love the seasons. I love the holidays.
That's too soon, though.
I do start a little early. I mean, I did put up my fall decorations on August 15th.
What are your fall decorations? What does that consist
Well, I
of?
have a Snoopy curtain, and all the gang is jumping in the leaves, and the bath mat is Woodstock with leaves on it,
Got
and
it.
the pumpkin that says "Bless the Harvest" comes out, all that stuff. So
I got it.
that was early, and I knew it, but I just hate summer. I'm not a summer gal. I love the seasons, but I'm not a summer person.
I'm a New Englander, so I like the change of seasons.
Chestnuts roasting on the open fire. Don't forget my gift. I still have last year's gift that you're getting this year. You get a bonus gift.
Bring your dog around. We'll give him a bonus too.
Because I couldn't do what I wanted to do because of the pandemic.
No one could do.
No,
what
that's
they
the
wanted
truth.
To do.
And when I went to do what I thought I could do, they said, "You need an appointment." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Yeah, and we don't have anything for about 7 weeks." And so I said, "Well, next year's gift. It's been sitting in my bedroom for a year."
What do you think of Mac Jones's performance this past
I
weekend?
thought it was great. I thought Mac Jones looked as good as he could, and I think that Dante Hightower looked terrible. I thought that a bunch of the starters just looked like crap out there. And listen, you can't fumble the ball. And it's so funny because I was thinking about Giselle when Harris fumbled at the end there. You can't. What did she say?
My husband can't
He
do it
can't
all.
throw the ball
Yeah.
and catch the ball and run with the ball. When she was talking about Wes Welker and
Get out.
But
I'm glad she's out of Dodge.
Yeah, I think this week we're going to see, hopefully, and
They
I
play
didn't like the
Jets.
coaching.
Jets this week.
What the hell happened to the tight ends?
They didn't use the tight ends until the fourth quarter.
What?
So
I know.
if you're gonna pay that kind of money
Right.
in free agency for the two of the top tight ends in the business, why aren't you using them? My guess is, I think as you pointed out, when I asked you that question, you said they probably didn't want to take the training wheels off the guy.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to completely overload him. And when you look at some of the teams, I mean, wow, that loss last week,
know.
top tier teams. And then you think about Last year when Tom Brady lost that first game, we were all rejoicing. We thought, oh, he looks terrible and old and it's over and what is stupid. And he went on to win the Super Bowl. So.
Yep.
But this is a must-win game for week 2.
No, what they're playing the Jets, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a must-win. I agree.
Yeah, but you can't with this team.
Well, you can't lose 2 games in a row.
But you can't say, "Oh, that's a win. That's a win." That's definitely. You
but
can't
also,
do that anymore.
you also can't lose. You should not be losing back-to-back games within your own conference.
Well, yeah. Look at their schedule because then you got the Saints and you got the Bucks
it won't
and you
be
got
easy.
Dallas
Yeah.
and
Not going to be
woof,
easy.
you got some serious games. So you need to win this game.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. What's going on with his hair, man?
I don't know, but boy, they got creamed.
He looks like.
He got benched.
Yeah, well, he should have, but he looks like Daniel Day-Lewis in the last, or is it? No, Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai.
Yeah, I don't know
That
what he's
hairdo.
I don't know what he's got going on.
Yo, dude.
But anyway, we'll close it
Yeah,
out.
he sucked.
We'll close it out with football. Recent survey said that more than 45 million Americans are going to bet on the National Football League this year.
Yeah,
so
I'm not.
A lot of people. I don't bet.
I don't understand how. What do? You call up DraftKings and you say, "Here's $10."
No, it's all legal now. You can.
Yeah,
you
but
can
I
bet.
mean, how does? I don't even know.
In the Ocean
Understand
State,
it.
you can do it. No, you can do it on an app. You know, at the casinos
know.
in here. I just don't. I
I
think.
don't like to throw my money away like that.
Yeah, there are other ways to throw that.
Right.
We throw it away.
Video games, candy.
Yeah, some people are into gambling. We're
video
not.
games
We're
and
not.
candy.
But, you know.
Big rubber ducks
God
at the
bless.
sugar factory. You know.
And before you get into your food story,
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
Notice who's behind us here.
Who is behind us?
That's Inky. That's my first doggie.
Yeah, I
and
know. I
that's
felt
my.
like and he's
that's
dead.
My, well, she.
She
And
is dead.
that's my Dalmatian. But that's one of those great pictures of the when you say to your dog, you wanna, and then they twist their head that way.
Listen,
It's really, really
Ron
cute.
was so in love with this dog, and I know this
Great
because,
dog.
yes, when I first started being friends with you, when you hired me, I remember you used to talk about this dog all the time,
She's a great dog.
and it made me sad for you. I hated that.
She's a very unique dog too.
Really?
Dalmatians are territorial. And they're not good with kids. They're not good with
you don't like kids
with other
anyway.
people. That's not why I chose the Dalmatian.
Oh.
But this Dalmatian was runt of the litter, and it was also a liver spot. She was brown. She
Yeah.
had brown spots instead of the black spots. And the mother rejected her.
Oh.
And where we got her, the kennel raised. They raised the Chinese wrinkle dogs,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And they raised Dalmatians.
Are those called Shar-Peis?
Shar-Peis.
Yeah.
So a mama
I know
Shar-Pei
some.
that had just given birth to a litter nursed Inky.
Isn't that
Yeah.
sweet?
So Inky had no idea that she was a Dalmatian. So her temperament was so much different than most
well,
Dalmatians.
that's sweet.
Sweet dog.
Ron.
Very, very sweet dog.
You know, sometimes this guy shocks me. He can be such a curmudgeon, and then he tells a story like that, and you just, your
I'm
heart
not a
melts.
curmudgeon. I'm not a curmudgeon by any stretch of the imagination. Now, what do you got for what do you got
Put that
for
thing
food?
on.
Yeah, what do you got for food news?
Put that.
Turn that machine
turn
back
that
on.
Machine. I lost my story. Remember, we were supposed to talk about the good candy.
Yes,
I
but
don't know
I've got
where
it.
is.
I got it. I got it stashed
when?
away. We'll do it in the
Okay.
next podcast as we get we get closer to Halloween.
Yeah, yeah.
What did I just want to ask
Summer's
you?
officially
before
over.
you hit that,
Almost.
How do people get in touch with you?
Oh, if you'd like to contact me, you can do so. I do get some emails from some interesting men.
I'm sure you do.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So if you would like to contact me, children, ladies, men, if you have something to say about the show, so it's
Aliens.
Aliens. Oh, definitely aliens. Jen Brien at rocketmail.com. JenBrien at rocketmail.com. Or you can send us a message on Facebook on Ron and Jen's Great Escape.
There you go.
Okay? So while summer isn't even officially over, it almost is. Many adults and plenty of stores are already focusing on Halloween, as you can see out there, to include the candy that's on the shelf. I don't think people can hear me with your music. Is that the idea?
Maybe. You're just seeing this after 41 podcasts? You figured that out?
Well, in case you missed it, then that...
Okay.
Hey, that's
I'm
it.
quiet. Go ahead. Go.
No. So candy, what kind of candy do people like for
What
Halloween?
kind? Oh, yeah. I tell you what I don't
What's
like.
the top candy
It's
overall?
got to be chocolate. Gotta
Yeah,
be chocolate.
well, it is. Yeah, chocolate. 60% of people prefer chocolate treats. 40%, well, obviously, the other people, this would be 40%. They like the non-chocolate treats. Candy corn. They have all
that's
kinds
horrible.
See, I love it, but they have all kinds of candy. They have caramel and apple and pumpkin. It's like Pete's. It's taken on a life of its own. Anyway, 82% of people, and I'm one of them, are going to celebrate Halloween this year. 80% are going to go back to trick-or-treating, and 79% of Americans will get into Halloween spirit by filling a jar full of candy in their home. Except Ron, because he shuts his lights off on Halloween, because that's what he does.
I'll tell you the worst candy of all time. All right, and I'm not a big candy corn guy. I don't like them.
Oh, those
circus peanuts.
Oh, really?
Oh, those are horrible.
No, how about those plastic? They look like flying saucers, and there's little things in, and they rattle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
And the texture of those things that they're in, those little saucers.
Yeah.
That's what the Holy Eucharist is in the Roman Catholic Church.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything.
So I'm just saying.
You'll find a smile will go a long, long